Hello and welcome to the Gooner Tour, back again with you guys for another show, for your second upload of the day, not even of the day, of the last 2 hours, your second upload. Of course, earlier on we released the video talking about Pablo Mari signing for Arsenal, and now we give you a video discussing the potential, which seems to be pretty legit because we've seen plenty of the credible sources, including the Oracle, obviously, tweet out that we are in fact in for Southampton's Cedric Soares. Now, I mean, if you thought the Pablo Mari deal came out of nowhere, this one was even weirder because I completely understand the reasons why we're in for a right back, because we need cover. Because Maitland-Niles, as many people have pointed out, although now people are second guessing themselves on Twitter, but people have pointed out that Maitland-Niles is not a right back. And we don't really have much cover besides Bellerin. And also, we need someone who can play left back, which Cedric can also do, which my guests will tell you all about in just a second. But, I mean, I'm fairly... I don't want to put too much of a negative spin on this, but I have a lot of reservations about Cedric. I'll go into the reasons why a little bit later on. I don't mean to be too negative, and it's great that we're signing someone, but you need to be objective, and I will talk about that. And I think my guest highlights some of my fears as well. And speaking of which, let's jump straight into that. But before we do, please make sure you drop a like on the video if you're enjoying these series. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've been doing loads of content. Where have you been? You've missed so much, but you can still catch up on all of it. And if you like to help out the channel and support the channel, you can become a member and get not just the pride and love and joy of being a member of our community and helping us here, but also get access to exclusive content which comes out every single month. This month, earlier on, we had exclusive details from James Benge from Football London discussing Day Upamecano. That one didn't work out, unfortunately, and that was very obvious during our interview with James. And we also do a monthly interview of one of our podcast regulars. This month it was Lee Judges, and we had a really good chat about what was going on at the start of the month. And also you get a exclusive article from me too, which is great. And of course your badges and emojis, which make you stand out from the crowd in the comments and the live chat as well when we do our live show. So click the link below if you would like to get some of that goodness, because the new stuff will be coming out early on in February. Can't wait for that. But let's jump right into the main part of the video and get the thoughts of our guest, Dan Hargraves, who comes from the Saints View. You can check out all of their details and stuff in the description box below. But I'm going to throw straight to Dan, and he's going to give you all the information that you could possibly want on Cedric Soares.
Hello everyone over on Gooner Talk TV. My name is Dan, I'm from the Saints View, and the guys have asked me to give you all a bit of insight on Cedric Soares, your new right back, or at least he will be very soon. Now, Cedric's been at Southampton for almost 5 years now, and it's going to feel weird not having him in the side. We didn't really think he was going to be here this season. He went on loan to Inter Milan last January with Ralph Hasenhüttl coming to the side. He didn't really seem like he fitted the mould with the new manager at the time, but he came back and has played. In fairness to him, Jan Valerie's been in and out of the side, and Cedric sort of made that right back spot his own again, which I don't think any Saints fan sort of saw coming 6 months ago. But we also knew that his contract was up in the summer, and it was likely that we were going to sell him last summer. It didn't happen, and now we're selling him now just to get some sort of fee instead of letting him go for free. But what should you expect from Cedric? He likes to get forward. Sometimes his crossing ability does it lets him down sometimes. You know, I'm not going to sit here and sort of tell you that he's going to be the best right back in the league after 6 months at Arsenal. It's just not going to happen. I still expect Hector Bellerin as an outsider to be your first choice right back, but he's a good option sometimes when he's in form, when he's having a good game. You know, he can defend, you know, put that last-ditch tackle in, and also put in the game-winning cross. So it just depends which Cedric you get and on which day. I mean, you would have seen at the Emirates, he literally failed to execute a simple sideways pass across goal to give to Obafemi for a tap-in. That worries me, and that should worry Arsenal fans, you know. And I have seen that from him for 4 seasons now, or 3.5 if you count the loan last year. But overall, he's been a very good servant. You know, I'm sad to see him go. It's another player from the great 2015-16 side that we had. And like I say, it's going to feel weird without him. We've just brought in Kyle Walker-Peters from North London, so he's come down from North London. Cedric's going up to North London. Obviously, Kyle Walker-Peters coming from Tottenham. We signed him on loan, so that's going to cover the Cedric hole for 6 months. Maybe not a permanent deal later on. We'll see how that goes. And it seems with Cedric, this is going to be a loan deal for you guys, but £5 million, and you're going to be paying all of his wages. So for us, it's a good deal. I think he's on best part of 80 grand a week. So for us, it's a big amount of wages off the wage bill. And it's good business, I think, at the end of the day. We've brought in a young, promising right back on loan. We're selling our aging, not high quality right back for some sort of fee before his contract would end in the summer. So enjoy him, take care of him. I know he can be good on his day, but yeah, I don't really understand why Arsenal have chosen him in particular, but I hope that gives you a bit of insight on what to expect from him. And yeah, he will do a job when he's chosen.
Huge thank you to Dan for providing us with that content and all the information that you could possibly need. You can find him on Twitter at DanHargroves_, and you can find at The Saints View on Twitter as well. I'm really happy that we've actually got around to producing some of these tactical breakdowns over the January window in the way that we all love and know. And that's going to continue today, because we have got our trusty, well, not so much graphics, but certainly stats and heat maps that I know that you love so much. So let's kick on with those and jump to the heat map, which you can see on your screen right now. So, heat map 2019-20, as Dan said, he's an attacking fullback, so he does like to get up that wing, and you can clearly see that from the right-hand side of the map there. It's very obvious that he is someone who's an attacking fullback. Southampton like to use that. Ryan Bertrand on the other side gets up the field a lot as well, and under Arteta we know how important those fullback positions are, and he will be extremely key in improving, not maybe improving, but adding quality to the side and adding backup. I'm sensing that the Europa League plus the Premier League plus what is now becoming a very realistic FA Cup run with Pompey in the next round, we could see Cedric return. There was fears about possible injury, but that is supposedly going to be fine after the winter break. It's a weekend off very soon. But after that, Cedric should be fit and ready to play. So if we need him, we can use him effectively. But yeah, that's the heat map. Very obvious. Defensive side of things, yeah, it's not very intense, is it? I mean, he's not doing a lot of running. There's a bit of intensity there. I'm surprised how small it is, though. Maybe that is quite telling. If you compare that to like Kieran Tierney's, for instance, in his last season at Celtic, it was red everywhere because he just keeps running. But maybe that's more down to the fact that he's not played loads of minutes this season, but I don't think that's too much to worry about. Let's talk about defensive stats. Very important defensive side of his game, because we need to improve the defence at Arsenal. Defensive duels, 9 per game, very solid with a 65% win rate, which is actually also quite good. Aerial duels, 3. He's not the tallest guy in the world. Most fullbacks aren't, but he wins 44.4% of those duels, which is a decent return. Sliding tackles, not so much part of his game, but he does make over 5 interceptions in each match. Losses in his own half, only just under 30% of those. He's a fullback who likes to get forward, he's going to lose the ball, but 12 times is a concern, and that will link into the passing stats that you'll see in a minute, and that is my biggest concern of Cedric. And as Dan said, sometimes he can't even put a sideways pass across, which, when you consider these guys are on 80 grand a week supposedly, that is a bit of an alarm bell going off. So 12 losses in the game. However, some redemption with recoveries, over 8 going on each game, with 28% of those happening in the opposition half, which is nice, but just can't quite equal it out with those losses, which is a strange one. 2.73 clearances for a fullback, does make a fair few clearances in the game. He does like to get back and do his job, which is nice. Fouls, 1 every other game, not too bad. And yellows, again, not really a big factor in his game. We shouldn't be worrying about that too much. Passing stats, this is where the really frustrating part for me comes into it. 71.2% pass accuracy. Now, when I put the tweet out that said he has a 71% pass accuracy, a lot of people said that means the Southampton players aren't showing for him. I don't agree with that. I have seen plenty of fullbacks, including our own, have a much higher pass percentage than that in games consistently, up into the 80s, for instance. And it does concern me. It really does. And maybe it's because of the team he's at. Maybe there is a legitimate part to that in terms of people showing for him. But at the end of the day, if there's not a safe pass on, if there's not a risky pass on that you can make and change the game, play the safe option And we'll see that again in a minute with some of the forward and backward ratios. Long passes, 7.8 per game with a 42.1% success rate. If you look at Pablo Mari's stats, which you can check out on the channel, it was our first tactical breakdown on him. His long passing accuracy was excellent, really, really good. Not so much so with Cedric, but he is trying those per game. He is trying to unlock over the top, and maybe that will get chiselled out of him his time at Arsenal. We'll have to see. You think he has to more link up with that right wing side with Pepe, so be interesting to see where that goes. Through passes, not too many, and he has a 0% success rate when he tries them. So I just wouldn't do them. That'd be my advice. Just don't do them. Just don't do the through passes because you're not very good at them. Crosses though. Now, Dan spoke about how his crosses have been disappointing. 45.5% success rate over 3 being made per game. When they happen and they work, apparently they're really, really effective. But it is the inconsistencies behind them that are the bigger concerns. XA is quite low. Assists is low. A second assist is low. Passes to the final third, 5.46 with only a 51% success rate. Don't like that too much. You'd like to see that up in the 60s, even in the 70s maybe. Passes into the box. I mean, he does like to get into the point where he passes to the box. You can see that number is very, very close to his crossing numbers, and they're very similar in that sense. But again, the percentage is still down there in the 40s. So, yeah, it just doesn't fill me with confidence, I have to be honest. Received passes, 24.63, so he's getting involved with the game, nowhere near as high as we've seen with other players that we've looked at. Forward passes compared to backward passes ratio, yeah, nearly 3 times more forward passes than backward, which is good, but 61.4% forward pass accuracy. And the really worrying thing is an 89.4% back pass, because usually those back passes are up in the mid-90s to high 90s because it's a very, very safe pass. If you're passing backwards and 1 in 10 of your passes which you do back, which is a fair amount, he passes 35 times on average in a game, so 1 in 10 of those goes astray. So 3, I just can't get my head around how inaccurate you can be with your passing. I know I'm sounding really, really condescending and worrying and negative, but I just can't get my head around how bad he is at passing sometimes. And I don't like sounding negative because I'm not a negative person, but I think you can sort of gauge my frustrations there. Let's look at the attacking stats then. Shots on target, 0.56. He's not really taken too many, and when they do, they're from outside the box, more than they are in the box, only just. He has scored, in fact, and it was just from inside the box. But he's taken a couple from outside when he sees that space open up, but they're not massively successful. Crosses, we've already talked about. Dribbles is an interesting one. I think that when you're looking at dribbling for a fullback, you'd like to see more of them being done per game, and that doesn't seem to be a thing. Same with progressive runs, just over 1 there. That's really strange. It's really, really low for a fullback to be doing it that little. So maybe it's because he's come on as a sub. Not so sure, but it's not great reading. I really hope he proves me wrong. I really do. Offensive duels, 3 per game, and he only wins 33% of those. So, yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm going to come back and speak to you. I just think that I think it's a shame that there's some really low statistics there. He's probably a lot better than we're making out there. I think my concerns are justified. I tweeted out that I was concerned, and I think I've supported that with the evidence I've presented to you there. But it's a body, as people have said. He's someone who's going to come in and be backup. It's not like we're signing someone to be a first choice, and that's probably the best thing to take from it, really, isn't it? So let me know what you think, though, in the comment section below. Try to be kind. I know that it gets on people's nerves when people are negative, but I've really tried to be positive as I can over this Windsor break, especially about Pablo Mari. I just don't quite see the reasoning or the quality in this one. But tell me if I'm wrong. Please do. I'm more than happy to read your comments, more than happy to reply to as many as I can, especially to our members, because they stand out in our comment section. So thank you ever so much for tuning in. If you drop a like on this video, I really, really appreciate knowing that you've liked it. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. And as always, up the Arsenal.